Hello and welcome to the Dance of the Soul.
We're
And we're
live.
here. Hello. Yes, 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 yes. We are live here. And I'm Natasha Venter. I am a multi life intuitive. I am a medium, energy seer, and I am an Feng Shui advisor. So with that I love to see energies. I can see energies, and I just enjoy helping people go through, their life with the betterness of who they are. And I'm finally rebranding myself to be who I know I am. I'm a psychic medium too, but at the same time, I'm just kind of separating myself out because I know I have a little bit different skills than some people out there. So I just wanted to define that a little bit more. So welcome everyone. And here's Regan.
Hi. Yeah. And before I introduce myself, I want to say I was at the New Living Expo in California this last week, and they had about 100 booths there. They had over 100 speakers that people could choose from to go to for free, which was all about the stuff we talk about. They had some different mediums there giving talks. And some people have written all these famous books, like Dr. Dr. Eben Alexander, who had the Heaven is Real book and all that. And there was thousands and thousands of people there. And when you were just saying about rebranding yourself a little bit, because people want to pigeonhole people that they only do a certain thing, but a lot of people and there was about 8. There might even been more, but it seems like every row I went down, there was mediums and people were having readings and everything. And it was really awesome. But I did see in some of them that the way they would brand themselves, they were specific in one little area of mediumship, different thing, like. And so coming by my booth, the Visit the Afterlife booth, uh, I had a lot of people that were there that were just regular people. But as we got talking, a lot of them had these experiences like a medium would have, where they would just know things. They could, talk to people who had passed on and that sort of thing, but they had never developed their skills. But it
Yes.
was it was great to see just how the everyday, like, people watching this now may have some psychic abilities or something that would benefit them in some way if they wanted to develop them. Or it's just nice to know that they don't have to feel like they're strange or weird or something in the family, because they can see these things. It's
Everybody's intuitive.
I
Everybody
know.
has tools. Everybody has something. It's just how do we define it? And I know at the end of this month, here next, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, I'm going to have um, a um, a lawyer who's a very well-known psychic medium,
Wow.
and he actually helps cops and stuff like that. And I know I get hits on where
Oh,
people are and that kind of stuff,
yeah.
but I'm kind of afraid. Am I real? Am I not? Do I know what I'm trying to say here? Because it's not my wheelhouse necessarily, but I get those hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
so it's that one of those things. But if you hone that area, then you get to trust it more. And I just have this, like my dad, he was a jack of all trades, and I just have a jack of all trades myself theme. So,
yeah.
so Regan, you're a hypnotherapist, right?
Right. And actually, what I'll do is I'll explain what I do, and then it'll lead right into what we're talking about today, about angels and
Yes.
guides and things. Um, I'm one of the 250 trained certified hypnotherapists through the Newton Institute. And some years ago, Dr. Newton accidentally discovered that when he was doing a hypnosis session, that people actually have this ability, when they're in a real deep state of relaxation, to access a higher consciousness and actually visit where we go in between lives. So he started these doing sessions. He started calling them life between life sessions. And we've done about 70,000 now. And in one of the things we found out with when I have a client in trance, and they go to a past life, see themselves pass away, and then when they're out of their body and they're done with their funeral and maybe staying and comforting people that are grieving or something for a while, I'll always ask them, I'll say, what happens now? And they tell me what happens, and they kind of turn around. There's a guide or an angel there,
Mm-hmm.
and in these 70,000, everyone has a guide or an angel. And
Yep.
and I've been twice. So Rebazar is my guy, and it's so nice to actually know that you have somebody that's on your team that's up there rooting for you, trying to help you, or trying to help inspire you, is kind of watching over you. And that's what we're talking about today, is the how important it can be to open up to you believing and then actually knowing that you have a guide or an angel that's been assigned to you that's there to help you. And that's what we're talking about today. So it's a perfect segue into that.
Exactly, exactly. And this is kind of more, I mean, this is my wheelhouse, working with the angels, knowing that we're here. A lot of us say, "Who's my angel?" And I'm like going, "Who's your angels?" with an S.
Yeah.
Because we don't have just one.
Mhm.
I know from my understanding, and, everybody might have a different perspective on this, and that's their truth. I never try to put my truth onto people. I try to
Correct.
give a perspective of a truth that, you can use for your skills and your knowings. And with that, as we're going forward, that we have an couple angels that stick with us. And I know for me, I've had a couple angels that stick with me for a couple lifetimes, and they're kind of my guide through those lifetimes. And then we also have angels that help us through this lifetime. And then we have angels that come and go, for our needs during that time. Just like we'll
Yeah.
have guides that come and go during our times. Like you have, well, I can never say his name. Your guide that you
Oh,
say,
Rebazar.
Rebazar, there we go,
Yeah.
Rebazar. And Rebazar is your guide, and he's been with you many, many different times,
Yeah.
in different lifetimes, and you've helped him in lifetimes because you guys trade back and forth in a way. Because I can see you, in a past life where you guys have, been each other's guides, and then there's these times. But then you have other guides that help you through, like when you were needing to get sober, when you were, you have these guides that help you, just like I have had guides that helped me
Yeah.
through when I needed to take care of my mom, when I was going through with my husband getting sober. Like there's certain guides that, and my technology guide, I have one that, Roger Dodger, that comes in and helps me with my technology. And he's newer to me because I'm
Roger
going
Dodger.
through Roger Dodger. He's a crack up. He's like, that's why I can't take technology serious anymore,
Yeah.
because he kind of really came in after I blew the aura out of my house, when I got angry one time because I couldn't get my Wi-Fi going, and I really
Mm.
need to get my Wi-Fi going. So 5 hours later, 7 phone calls to Xfinity, which is not necessarily their problem. It was just
Yeah.
I didn't. Every time I went to check a box, what I was supposed to do, because my energy would blow it out, I would have to restart the whole process.
Oh no.
And so that I really learned at that time that my energy can really manipulate things. And so I got so angry one time that I saw the aura of my house blow open, and I was like, I had to close it up because what was coming through wasn't all that nice.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know people that have the same issue as you, and they can't wear watches because they a watch won't keep good time, or it'll stop, or it'll whatever,
mhm.
because of the energy coming from their body.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Veronica's watching us. Hi, Veronica.
Hey, Veronica.
And whoever else is watching us, please, chime in with good,
Yeah.
with very respectful comments, because we're here to support you and negotiate this with you. And so with and then Roger Dodger came in after that, because it was like he knew that I was going to be on this doorway of a huge, um coming in. So I really needed somebody that can help me, manipulate my website, do what I'm doing here, because we used to have somebody who would do the producing in the backside, and now it's me who's doing the producing. And
Yeah.
I'm like going, oh, Roger Dodger is helping me. So if I get an idea like, oh, open a new tab, do it this way, do it that way, I'm like going, okay. And then I just do what I get
Yeah.
the idea. Half the time I don't know it's Roger Dodger. I just know that I just get these insights because he doesn't spend time. Hey, this is Roger Dodger. I'm going to tell you to do this, this, and this, and this. No, he just puts ideas in my head and I go with it.
Yeah. And let's define for people. We say angels, we say guides. How would you say they're the same thing, or would you differentiate between the two? You know, when you say some people have angels and some people have guides, or you know, what would be your take on if they're just is this a nomenclature here that they're really the same thing, or is there a difference between a guide and an angel?
Okay, their intention is the same. The thing that I did dis the different whatever that word is, that I really know that angels are a, I don't know how, the only way I can put it in the image that I'm getting is they're a brighter energy.
Hmm.
Where a guide, let's say if it's uh you know uh some of these, like if it's Einstein or if that's kind of thing, they are bright energy, but there's something brighter. And the other one I want to use is cleaner, but nobody's dirty. It's not necessarily
Right.
dirty. It's just they're a brighter energy. And so for me, but I also take like the fairies and then the angels and then star beings. So to me, they're all in the same kind of category. Like the star being fairies are our star beings on our planet. They're just
Well,
they're just part of the star beings of our planet. And go ahead.
isn't the I don't know. When you just said that, I was thinking maybe a good way to explain it is the people that are guides, the angels, when you say the star beings and that, they're just spiritual beings that are a little ahead of us on the awareness spectrum.
Hmm.
And in other words, they're kind of above us, kind of pulling us up. And then wherever we are, like I say, we try to help in what we're doing in the show, people that are here to answer things. And it's like we're all just sharing, trying to, you know, um, raise each other up in a sense. Uh,
Exactly. And I would say the angels have a different perspective. They have a bigger perspective than what, let's say, some of the star beings do.
yeah,
And some of the star beings in their wheelhouse have different knowings, maybe more in technology and that kind of stuff. Just like when I'm calling in, my Wi-Fi was starting to go a little awry, so I called in the technology angels to help clean
yeah,
up my Wi-Fi so the show would go on with clarity. And so it's one of those things that you can call in who you need. Call in, hey, I need somebody who helped me with technology. Hey, I need somebody who can help me with
yeah.
paperwork. And
It's
if
a
you get a
yeah,
guide that can do that, they come in. If you got an angel that comes in, they can do that, type of thing.
yeah. I found when I'm doing these life between life sessions, people see themselves pass away, turn around. There's a guide there. Usually, the guide is kind of our he's like a tour guide in a sense. He takes my clients to different points, but then there's other beings, elders as we call them, or other guides too, or whatever, that take over from there. Like some of them are on the council.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people have. I would say probably when my clients are in the afterlife and I have them tell me what they're seeing, and I'll say how many on your council, how many guides. It's generally between about 3 and 6 most of the time,
Yes.
but I've had some with 20 or more. I mean, everybody's kind of different, but kind of an average. It's normal 3 or 6. And each sometimes different ones will speak up and to answer different questions. Or when we're doing one thing about beautiful about this is I'm loving with this quantum healing that I also do is when like the last one I had this last week, she was standing before her council, but she wanted to address some health issues she has in her current life. So I asked the council, the guides there, I said, um, can I ask her higher self to do a body scan and maybe some healing, or do you have somebody there that's more qualified? And then they said, we have somebody here. And then this other guide or angel appeared, just, beautiful, loving, and proceeded, had this, it was really neat. It was like a wand of all these different energies and colors. And my client in trance, they're there and they're just going, whoa, whoa, as they're experiencing this healing energy. And they just after the session they're just saying, gosh, that felt so amazing, like my whole being was being cleaned,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Vacuumed
So
out,
yeah,
spit shined. Yes.
so I think just like us, when we pass on whatever our abilities are, we'll either decide to come back and, be on Earth again or some other place where we can help. Or we may stay behind the scenes and do some of the work that's over there, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what we do. So I think what's good over there is we're allowing these other beings to ascend even more by them helping us, just like we help other people, and it kind of raises our vibration too, to
Mm-hmm.
learn some things. So it's just, one big happy school over there of all these teachers, and I don't know, it's just a beautiful place. In my booth this week, I was surprised how many people came by and I start talking about this, and they would say, "Oh, well, my guides are doing this and my guides are doing that," and then another person come up, "Well, I'm talking to my guides about," it was nice to be in a place where, there was probably 30,000 people for the whole weekend, and everybody was on the same page in a sense, you know,
Yes.
you know, so
Talking with like-minded people, it just and that rises up the vibration too. So it's one
yeah.
of those things, like, some of us who are listening to the show, they might feel like they're starting to hear things, for their greater good. And that's the
Hmm.
thing, is I want people to understand that when you're getting messages from your guides and angels, it will always be more blessed language than it will be any negative language. You
Yeah.
may hear, "This wouldn't be good for you." Oh, you might want to think different of that. Or like for me, I do muscle testing. And so like if I go to grab something that I want to eat just on a whim,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll fall backwards, like, which is my general no, is to lean backwards, right? And
Yeah.
so, "Oh, okay, I don't need to do that," but it's not like a, it's a, "Oh, you stupid,"
Yeah.
it's always a, or a, "Yeah, go ahead and do it," or, "Here's another idea for you." It's almost like, getting us off that, it's like, how you have to take a kid and they want to go this way and you kind of distract them and have them do something else.
Yeah.
They'll do that to us in a way, not treat us as a kid, but they'll give us another perspective. And it's like, "Oh, yeah, I can do that."
Yeah. And I found that also true. I'm glad you said that some people are afraid, in a sense, and you may have this too. Uh, they're a little shy on having you help them or something because they're afraid that somebody or an angel or guide or somebody on the other side is going to reprimand them for something or is going to be mean to them or something. And in these 70,000 cases that we've had now and the research we're doing, it's the furthest thing from the truth that they would say anything of a hurting nature or something to you.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I've had them be stern with people before, but here it was interesting. She's in trance. The counsel's talking to her about some issues in her life, and she's in trance, and she says she's got her eyes closed. She's in trance. She said, "Oh, they're being really stern with me." And I says, "Are they saying something mean to you?" She says, "Oh no, they're not mean. They're just being stern." And she realized she had to have, like, a good teacher would come up to you that where you're almost failing the class and they're coming up and just saying, "Look, do you want to flunk, or you're going to have to just go back and really 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 study, okay?" And you kind of go, "Oh, like this." And
Yeah.
sometimes we need that, we need a stern kick once in a while, but
Exactly. That's what
it's always
Archangel
loving.
Michael does. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got cowboy boots and he says, "I can kick you along the way, get you moving," and I can see him using his, like how you kick a soccer
Yeah.
ball where, it's by the side, and he's like, "Come on, let's get going. Come on." But then at the same time though, as soon as you need it, he'll stand in front of you with his fiery sword and say, "This person is protected." You
Yeah.
know, so it's not but I can tell you when he's kinda kicking you along, "Come on." Like he's told me sometimes, he says, "You asked me not to kick you, but I'm going a little bump ya," but that's the thing, is that that bump was usually for me when my husband was getting sober, to have boundaries,
Yeah.
to have those boundaries that said, "You know what? This is a language, don't this tone doesn't work for me anymore, babe. This tone doesn't work for me anymore." And it didn't mean that I had to be mean. It just I had to have boundaries. And so those
Yeah.
pushes and shoves, or me being able to on the playground, instead of being, hey, can you take care of that? Hey, can you take care of that? No, I had to go and take care of it. No, you go get it. You go take care of it. You need to get the strength to be able to believe in what words you're going to say, that you are the one that needs to be the voice, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And Veronica says here, she says, I always get messages or comments from my guides right before I wake up, never
Yes.
negative.
Yeah. And Veronica too, in this thing that we do with the life between lives things, what we do is we help people relax till they get to that state where it's just like they're about ready to go to sleep, or just about as you kind of wake up, you're kind of in that state. And that's the state that they tell us where the average person can actually access their higher selves, or can
Mhm.
access, a lot more information. And that's that. So many people have said, just as I was waking up, I got the solution to my problem that I've been thinking about for weeks. Um,
'Cause that's
and
when we're out of the way. You know,
yeah,
I personally, because my mind works so quickly, and is always working on something and doing something, that I find that I don't meditate during the day. I may take a breath, I may, get quiet for a moment. I may sit in the car before like, if I'm coming out of a situation, I'll sit in my car, take a moment, breathe, I'll do things like that to get myself centered. But I usually do a more of a meditation as I'm waking up or I'm going to sleep, and I will not have my phone when I'm going to sleep next to me. And in the morning, usually try to keep from getting on my phone until I have that kind of moment where I'm like willing to hear, taking the time to hear what the universe wants to tell me. Kind of like,
yeah,
so I even asked the question, so what do I need to do here? What do I need to know for my day? And I hear, just stay on track, not
yeah,
necessarily that I need to stay on productive, but just stay on track. Don't let yourself get distracted today,
yeah,
because I can, sometimes we're human, and the video games on our, or the, playing solitaire on our phones, or something easy to do, and that's
yeah,
distraction. It's not being proactive, even though sometimes we need to have a moment of down.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting that way. Yeah, I found out. Well, in my 20s when I started singing the Hue, or the HU, and it's like a mantra for that Eckankar teaches, and that's what kind of opened me up to everything, as far as all these possibilities. But it was interesting as how it was like I was, by taking time to sit down and to meditate and to sing, a mantra to kind of settle me and kind of change my vibes. I was, in a sense, saying to the beings and everything on the other side, hey, I'm ready to start learning. I'm ready to start hearing what you're trying to
Mhm.
teach me. And what I've heard from so many people, like you, Natasha, and other mediums, and that, it's, in a sense, it's like they're saying, our guides are just waiting for us to wake up so they can help us more, but they can't force us. They can't. It has,
Mm-mm.
like, everybody in their time has to go through these trials and tribulations until you finally wake up and go, I surrender, help me, or something. And the guides go, yes, now we can get to work. And then people say, after they do that, after they kind of, in a sense, make that inner thing, like, I can't do this life on my own, I need a little help here, then all of a sudden, all these little synchronicities, and people say, wow, let me tell you about this coincidence today,
Yep.
things that happen. I'll tell you something happened for me this weekend. Like, I was floating the whole weekend. When I did my talk, I thought it had two. I was the first at 5 o'clock, and it just opened at 4. So of the 100 speakers, I was one of the very first ones. So there wasn't a lot of people around. So in about 10 minutes till, I had like 3 people in the room. So I thought, okay, whoever God sends in the room, I'm just going to tell them about this process, whatever happens. And it pretty much filled up, during the talk. And but I even now I'm feeling emotion coming up, but it felt like I dropped into my zone, you know, and it's the most beautiful feeling. But I even cried a couple of times when I was talking about my session, about my womb experience, about experiencing being in my mother's womb. And people out there, I know, I would, a couple of years ago, I would have gone, ooh, gross,
Yeah.
just thinking of it from a certain level. But when you do it in a regression and you find his soul that you've entered this little baby's body in full awareness because the wall of forgetfulness hasn't happened yet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually feel your mother's thoughts. You can feel her beingness. I mean, wow. I felt like I knew my mom 10 times better than I ever did when she was alive, just by experiencing that, what she was thinking and feeling before having me. That
Mm-hmm.
was there. But it was nice to just feel in that zone, and the talk just went like it just went so like smooth. I didn't even have to even, I don't know. It was like all nervousness just went away, and I got real.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was great. And so many people after they came up, they took stuff, and it looks like I might have about maybe 30 now, maybe over the next 2 or 3 months here, that I'll be doing for people. But here's we're talking about what happens when you say, "Hey, angels, I don't know you yet or something, but I hear you're up there, and I want to start working with you so I can improve my life." So after my talk, and I'm just filling in the zone, I went by a booth, and they have this wheel that they have, and they just want you to spin it,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it lands on, then they give you a little card or something spiritual. So she said, "You want to spin the wheel?" And I just looked over and I went, "Okay." So I spun the wheel, and it goes, and then it landed on a picture of me. It was taken um, 22 years ago. And I just saw it. It was I was at a spiritual convention, and I was going through a tough time in my life, and I was standing on a bluff watching the sun as it's about to go down, and
Mm-hmm.
you could see the light of the sun like a road along the water right to you, right to me.
Yes.
And I was standing there. It was such a spiritual thing, and I had my hands behind my back, and I was contemplating. And a photographer had come up and took a picture of me. And later on, he says, "Hey, would you mind if we use this? If it's a pretty cool picture, if we use it for something?" And I said, "No." So I spun all the way around on the wheel, and I'm not even looking at the wheel. And so I looked at it,
And
and I
it
went,
ends up being you.
"Yeah." And I
Isn't
so
that funny how that synchronicity
yeah,
happens?
well, right. And so it was like, that was the angels, that was the God, Mahanta, the higher something saying, "Regan, you're right where you should be right now."
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful because I think maybe in a future show here we should talk about these coincidences, these God sightings, and how to watch for them, and how to realize that they're a lot more than coincidence.
Oh yeah,
You know.
and I take those too. That it's just amazing when you ask for something to happen. Like for me, I've been asking questions. Veronica says yes. Asking these questions. What should I do next? Where should I go? And sometimes those answers don't come right when you answer the question. They come forth, and there's been a scenario of something happening. And today I was talking with one of my clients' friends, and she was telling me about something, and I'm like going, that's a great idea, to engage the feng shui and that kind of thing about, you know, branding and or reapplying what things are. And I'm getting these ideas now of, da 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 da, and that is a God sighting, that is an angel sighting, that is a moment when you're in sync with listening to your guides, is to follow the dot to dots. And that's one thing that right now, like I was on the radio show, I'm on a radio show the the third Sunday of every month, doing animal communication. And on that show I was I was in the moments of trying to tell somebody, and I'm like saying, right now it's really hard to give like insight. Yes, 3 months from now you're going to find the guy, you're going to do da, da, da,
Yeah.
right now there's so much happening that the best way I can give and this is where I'm grateful because I'm already set up in my intuitiveness doing this, is I kind of show you how to listen. I show you how to work with your life. I give you insights on how to negotiate your world, so that when you're walking it, like I've had people who called me up and said, Natasha, what you told me 7, 8 year ago still works today because you gave me the tools to negotiate my life.
Yeah.
So thank you. And that's the thing is that, going forward right now, opening up and trusting. There's been some things that have happened that were so big, something I could not control. And I call it my God box.
Hmm.
Or I call it my box. And it's like an old chest, and it's huge. It can be as big as I need it. And I open it up and I shove whatever I can't handle into it. I just shove, and I even sometimes metaphorically put me in there.
Yeah.
I'm done. I can't deal with this. Is something bigger than me. I don't know what to do with it. I have emotions around it. I don't know. I am being human right now. I don't know what to do. So I just shove everything in that box, close the box, and hand it off to Mother Mary, Jesus, angels, God, whoever will take it. I just give it over to them and let them deal with it. And a lot of times when I start thinking about that again, I go into surrender. What am I surrendering to? Nope, I surrendered it over, surrendered it. I surrendered it over. I'm not taking it anymore. I'm surrendering it over. And what I find that after a little while, what I'm dealing with has kind of, when it was so big and in gnarlsness, it just kind of takes a breath down, and it starts easing itself. It starts negotiating itself, going down, and I'm like going, oh, it's getting taken care of.
Hmm.
It's really getting taken care of.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see. Like I probably had 3 people over the weekend. They were talking about that they connect with uh, Michael, the archangel, just like you do,
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I think maybe his work or something now, he's probably like one of the main dudes,
Oh, he
the
is.
guys, and he works with just like Mother Mary, right? It's
Uh-huh.
like Mother Mary and Archangel Michael. I mean, they are busy, busy, busy working with so many people, and that's what I didn't understand before, because I thought, oh, this person's says she channels Mary Magdalene, and another person channel. I said, wait a minute, my mind was like only one person she'd be talking to one person or channeling through one person, but because we know now on the other side that these beings are like, in a sense, omnipresent. I mean, or if that's the
Mm-hmm.
right word. In other words, you with the spiritual energy, it's not like physical energy. Your spiritual energy can be divided, in many, many pieces in that, so they have this ability to be, in a sense, in many places at the same time, working with many, many people, so that was an awakening for me, to realize kind of how they work.
Well, this is the thing that you've mentioned before, that, our soul isn't all in one place.
Right. Yeah.
Our soul has been up in a part of us stay up in the heavens,
Yeah.
wherever that is.
Hmm.
It's right beside us, but it's wherever it
Yeah.
is, and I'm not going to put my belief on anybody with that. That, and then, if we ended up having a situation that happened, let's say we were murdered in a past life. Well, there's an essence of us that kind of gets clicked off. I want to say it's almost like a bite off, let's say. And then, there's these perspectives that, well, the angels are the same way, you know, their
Yeah.
energy. They can be in so many places at the same time, and that's why I really have an understanding their frequency. The angels have a certain frequency that is defined differently than our humanness,
Yeah.
or the star beings, or the fairies. They have a different essence about them that can let them um what's the word? It's not split. It's not multiply. It's defer to different places at one
Mm-hmm.
time. They can use their essence to be in different places at different times.
Mm-hmm.
3 people can channel Archangel Michael at the same time and have a different voice, have a different understanding, because he comes through that person in the way that they understand him, just like Mother Mary does. Sometimes Mother Mary will be channeled as White Calf Buffalo Woman, or another
Yeah.
goddess, or it's like, or Leshki, or one of these different beings, right? Because that's how
Mm-hmm.
we interpret them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times they morph into likeness that when we see that we accept it. I mean, I've had um, uh, when I have people on the other side and they turn around, there's their guide. Sometimes they're just a ball of colored energy.
Hmm.
But my client recognizes them as their guide in that energy form. Sometimes they look androgynous. You can't tell if they're male or female. Sometimes male, sometimes female. And sometimes they look just like like you picture if someone drew an angel of a beautiful woman with the wings
Hmm.
and all that. So they seem to be able to, like someone asked me at my booth this weekend. They said, well, if I've been with my mom, who was my mom in this lifetime, if I've been with her many times in other lifetimes where she wasn't always my mom, maybe she was my brother, or she was
Hmm.
whatever, um, how are they going to appear to me on the other side? And I said, well, what I found out is mostly they they um, they appear to you as someone you recognize in this lifetime. But a lot of times, again, I'll say, what's your mom? You're talking to your mom. You go, yes, we're having this conversation. I'll say, well, describe her for me. I said, we're researching her. And she, on the other side, they're communicating with the ball of energy, all these different colors and
Hmm.
things.
We just have
So,
a knowing.
yeah,
Our soul knows who it is. We just have to get out of the
yeah,
way.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we as humans just need to get out of the way to recognize soul to soul language. And
Yeah,
that's the thing that I find that I don't necessarily have that problem. Like, people always say, how do you know who you're talking to? And I just go, I just know. My
yes,
soul knows who it is. And I
yes,
don't get caught up in, it's kind of like when you're in a group of people, you're in a, let's say, a group of people, and each person is talking. You don't ask, well, Joe is talking or Peter's talking. You just know it's Joe talking or Peter talking, and you
yeah,
trust this conversation that's going on around you. That's how I engage with it. That
yeah,
it's like, if I have like five beings that are talking to me, I just listen to what they're saying and take it as what I need to tell the person that's sitting in front of me, because
yeah,
that I trust who's around me. I don't get caught up in the who. I get caught up in what the message is, because overall, like, I've had a lot of great great grandparents coming through, or grandparents coming through, or great great grandparents coming through, and they're like, I don't know them. And I said, it doesn't matter who they are.
yeah,
Listen to the message they're giving you, because
right,
that is important. That's what's truly important. you know are you loved? Be love, or whatever it is. Or, yes, we understand what you're going through. I was on the ship coming across the Americas, having nothing, because we were living in the poorhouse where we were at. I understand this journey of stepping into nothingness, into finding something.
yeah.
And I want to give you strength. You got it. You come from good stock. You got it. If that's the message, then listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's even possible, I think, sometimes in this research we're doing that some entity or something that shows up as someone that they know with a message from them may not actually be that entity who they think it is, but it's appearing to them in that way because they know they'll accept the message, you
Hmm.
know, sometimes. So it could be anything. I mean, I would just say when people ask me questions that I don't know about the other side, I'll just say, at this point, I think anything's possible. Like there's infinite possibilities of things. As human beings, we want to always say this is the only possibility, and then to break that mold, and you start realizing that there's all kinds of things, and it's really awesome because you realize how magnificent we each are in our essence, of all the things that
Mm-hmm.
we can do and all the experiences that we can have, and the fact that whatever God is ultimately or whatever thing, I think most people would agree that it's a benevolent, loving, beautiful thing. When people ask about God, when they're in this place that they're allowing my clients to go to, this part of heaven or the afterlife, and people will say, well, can I see God or something? And they just smile at him and go, well, what do you think? I mean, it's like God is this everything thing, but they do say on the other side that they feel the presence. They feel the presence of God on a deeper level,
Mm-hmm.
and this portal that they've allowed people to go to now to find out that they have what their mission in life is, and find out why they were born, why they choose their parents, why they're going through their trials and tribulations, things they need to work on in themselves to ascend higher.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown me that is just one of an endless amount of levels of heaven, or the afterlife. It's just like the star. I mean, so, whew, I think it would blow us up if we really saw how much there is. We couldn't comprehend. Like I watched, oh my gosh, on 60 Minutes last night, and they had the guys from Google and some other things about this artificial intelligence thing, and it was shocking, shocking, shocking.
I don't watch it because
Oh.
I can't I I understand that's happening. I don't want to go there because it triggers something in me that is beyond what I want to have triggered in me.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming really fast
It
right now.
is.
They
It is.
asked this artificial intelligence about some subject, and the artificial intelligence, within I think 10 seconds, came back and said, "Well, you want to know? Here's 5 books to read about it," and had the books' names, the authors, and everything like this. They looked it up. There was no such books. The artificial intelligence made up the books, published them, wrote them, and gave them to these people in 10 seconds. All these books about all these subjects. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So it's going to give us new things to have to deal with, but already one thing that this artificial intelligence that trains itself and teaches itself has done is it solved something in our genetics, some genetic thing that we've been studying for years. And they say a scientist to find out one marker, and it would take about 4 or 5 months to do one little thing, you know, and to learn everything that we need to know, they say would take about a billion hours,
Mhm.
and the computer went through and solved this genetic thing in a matter of a few minutes or something. And they're now using that in this all new thing we're learning about, this disease or genetics or something like this, is starting to be used for the benefit of mankind, because we solved it now instead of having to wait for forever and ever.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's
that's
gonna
the
be
good
good and
side,
bad with the whole thing. Like I
like
said, there's
everything.
something in me that it triggers, and I
Uh,
know it's from something in my future that I know is happening. And I'm just kind of sitting here enjoying the moment that I have right now because
yeah.
I
Well, this is where I think too we all need to really work on our spiritual selves, to uplift, so that our intuition and our reasoning becomes really, really sharp. So that the fact that we're not pulled into something, uh, you know, because we don't know any better. What's the right word? I want to say your you know like, if someone's trying to talk you into something, and I don't know the right word. Maybe someone watching, maybe Veronica knows,
no, no,
or
no.
not my
Well, what it
intuition.
is that it's yeah, so what I have been shown and I've witnessed this myself and one thing that I've always been a good channeler. Even when I was very young, very little, I was a good channeler. The thing is, though, when I tried to channel, I couldn't do it because I tried. I wasn't myself.
Oh.
I was separated from myself. And I know when I was going through a class to hone in the information that I knew, that the more that I was grounded, the more that I was myself, the more I was in tune with myself, knew myself, the better channeler I was.
Mm-hmm.
So with that the more that we know ourselves, the more we center ourselves, the less we'll get jointed by others and other things around us.
Oh, yeah. And something came up. I want to say before I forget. Now, if you're doing a session with a client, with one of the people you're trying to help, um, if they have a sense that they have a guide, or they're just going, I guess that you're telling me I have a guide, but I've got no clue. How do I find out? Are you successful sometimes if you're talking to them of introducing them
Mhm.
to their angel? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So you can actually go,
Yes,
hey,
and I do
this
that
is
through a practice
wow.
platform.
Okay.
And what I do is that a lot of times I say, "Okay, let's ask.
Yeah.
What do you
And
hear? What is
and
that
then
first thing you hear? Don't
yeah,
question it. Okay, let's ask a question. Maybe we need to define the question." And I
yeah.
guide how to ask the questions. And they start listening and, "Oh, is that? Oh, okay." And they start because of the fact that we all witness the universe differently.
Mm-hmm.
How I hear the universe, how I see the universe, how um I interact with the universe is going to be so different than anybody else because I am me.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that interesting? Archangel Michael has to know how to interact with all of us.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that a moment?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you could ask their guide to, like, I'm pretending I'm your client right now, and you just
Yeah.
introduced me to whoever my guide is, and then I'm saying, well, ask my guide, him, her, or whatever it is, how can I, on my own, without going through Natasha, how can in my daily life, how can I connect? How can I feel you more? I'm sure they'll probably say maybe some sort of, quiet yourself meditation or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I know it would be interesting to see if every guide says the same thing, or is it different for different guides? Some people want text, some people want in person, some people,
Yeah,
a phone
exactly.
call.
And that's the first thing I say, okay, let's relax for a minute.
Yeah,
The best thing you can do is relax and breathe, right? Okay. So now let's ask a question. And what is the first thing you hear? And that's how I go into it is that if we were getting caught up, right? What did I do with the energy?
hmm,
Brought it back down to quietness. Because
yeah,
that is the fastest way to listen to our guides
I
is
agree.
to
It's in the
have
quiet.
is have and it's not necessarily that because you can do that in the middle of a busy classroom or in a busy office or in the middle of but it's that kind of coming down and
Hmm.
centering yourself in and that's the difference between somebody who can listen and who can't listen. Because I can tell you that witnessing myself that there's a lot of times I'm in these really busy places. But then it's like I see myself coming, and almost watching myself be in those places. So I can center myself down and listen to what is the thing I wanna hear. I was talking to somebody today, and she was just being disjointed, she had a rough morning and needed and I was picking up on her energy, and I just said, "Go take a break. Go take a break."
Yeah,
Go away and take your time. Go away. I'll deal with this. You go away. When she came back in, she doesn't have the tools to center herself, but so what I did was I just kinda helped her. You know?
yeah,
And sometimes people need a little more physicality, so what I did was, I'm always got your back, right?
yeah.
I always love you, and I always have your back, and I went and actually grabbed her, held on to her back, and didn't hang
Nice.
on her, but my hand was on her chest,
Hmm.
and because of the fact that I want her to know that she's not alone, because she struggles with feeling very alone.
Yeah. Maybe an exercise that would help people too, because I've had success with clients in this, is when we're just doing like a light hypnosis, which is just relaxing. It's like when you meditate or you sing a mantra or something, it gets your body relaxed and everything. Is just imagine with your eyes closed, imagine you like say floating over the ocean, and you look down and you see an island down there that feels like it's pulling you down to it, and just feel yourself going down and down and down, and then and maybe you can count from 5 down to 1 by yourself, and then you
Mm-hmm.
tell yourself when you get to 1 you're going to be standing on this cliff barefoot, kind of wiggling your toes in the warm morning grass, that's when the sun just coming up, so you can just feel the energy from it. And as you do that, then just, walk down some stairs, feeling yourself getting more and more relaxed. And as you step into the sand, you can feel it's like your soul energy just coming up from the sand up through your body, and just feel feel the breeze on you, hear the birds, you know, walk along, letting the waves come over your feet. And then at one point, walk to maybe the inside of the island through a little path with flowers, and there's a meadow, and you see like a little path that goes up to the top of this mountain. Just feel yourself walking up and looking at things. And the more you kind of immerse yourself in that, using your imagination, you get to the top, and there's a little, maybe a golden bench or chair that's very comfortable that you sit in, and you can overlook this beautiful island. And then you look down the path that you just came up. This is what I do with some of my clients in hypnotherapy. Just look down the path, and somebody special is coming to meet you, and just watch as they get closer and closer and closer. Well, I've had a number of people that when they did that, and then all of a sudden they look and they go, "Oh my God, it's my guide." Or somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes because you see people say, "Well, I just made it up, it's my imagination." Well, imagination is the kindling that gets things
Yes.
started. It's
Yes.
the kindling.
It's
Yeah.
the ambers of the fire. It's the glow
That
of the
gets it going.
fire.
Right.
It's the part of you that, and I think that that's one reason why my mind works in metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
It works in metaphors and synchronicities and just seeing things, and that's why I think that I have such a great way to connect with people's past lives and stuff, because I can go into imagery so fast, because I see things. I'm such a great imaginator that I don't imagine, but yet that picture gets in my head pretty quickly because I've already opened up that pathway.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
So
open up that line of communication. So I trust that whole process. If I get something that pops in my head, especially when I'm in session, it's like, oh, there's something that they're showing me, and I know it's something. I got to throw it out there, type of thing.
yeah, that's why, because people say, "Oh, you're just telling me what to see and think," and so that's how my past life happened. And they don't realize that, to a point, just to kind of get them there, have them go through a tunnel to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm suggesting that they're seeing a tunnel, and they're saying they see it, and they go down. I say, when you come out the other side, you'll be in another lifetime. Well, from that point on, I don't suggest anything. I just ask open-ended questions. I say, wherever you are, what do you see? They're telling me now. Okay.
Mhm.
Is it daytime or nighttime? What do your hands look? It's different things. And so from there, they take over. So then when they listen to the recording, they go, "Oh yeah, that was me telling you everything, not you telling me what to see." But they can.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the way that the guides and everybody will help us, is that they'll give us what we need, and it's
Yeah.
just us trusting the process, and that's the difference between a lot of people, is trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, like for me, there was a time when in my life that I had a night. It was a bad night. It was, one of those times when my husband was drinking really bad, and we were in a big fight, and I just was not going to sleep, and I was crying, and everybody has a rough time in their relationship, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
just happened to be mine, and I just, my mom had been gone for a good, 15 years at that time, and I was in need of something, and I just was, and I asked, I need help. I don't know what to do. He's sitting here, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden I felt Mother Mary coming up to my side of the bed. I was laying in bed
Mm-hmm.
just crying, and she didn't really say much, but I know her presence because, well, I know Mother Mary's presence. It's just pure love. It's pure mother love. It's not mother of the humanness, it's mother of divine.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and she says, and I just kind of felt the energy of just, it will be okay. It will be okay.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
felt like one, another streak, and another streak, and I was
Wow.
asleep. I woke
Wow.
up. I was like, I fell asleep,
Yeah.
because she did that. She just, and when you
Hmm.
feel that kind of
Yeah.
love, it's not your
I
imagination.
know, because some people say, "Oh, you just made that up," but you have to tell people unless you were there and you actually felt it. It's different. It's a whole different thing, and it becomes real to you. That
And it
way.
was, it was over 15 years ago, and look at me. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still to this day kicks it's something in me, and I just want people to
Yeah.
know that everybody can have this. It's us
Yeah.
getting out of the way to receive it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is we got to get out of the way to receive it.
And like I told before, just a short version right now, but I when I got to the bottom of because an addiction that I had and what it was causing the turmoil in my relationship back when I was about 29 years old, a long time ago, uh, and I finally got to where I just couldn't handle it. Just like you said, I said, you got to help me. I can't handle it. And then that night in the dream, I had 5 teachers come to me and they put me on a gurney in a hospital, and they went around me, kissed all the edges, like the outer edges of my body, and
Mhm.
I woke up, my addiction was gone. Something I
Mhm.
thought I'd never been able to get over before. So that was a big lesson for me. And I think, why don't I do that on little things? Why, you don't have to just surrender on the big things. You're having a hard time fixing your car and you can't figure it out. Surrender to that, and get some help, right?
Exactly,
Doesn't
exactly.
have to be something major, major, major. I mean, they're kind of willing to help you with anything, you know.
Mhm. It
Um,
is, but there again is us getting out of the way, and sometimes us getting out of the way is getting up and walking away for a minute to come back into the right timing of
yes,
it.
that's right. Oh, so how many times has that happened to me? And I know that now. When I can't figure anything else out, I say, well, let me come back to it tomorrow. So many times I go back to tomorrow, I see a whole different. I go, why didn't I see that yesterday? But I don't
Yeah.
know. But you see a whole different way, and it's a simple fix. Two things coming to mind right now that in the house that's fixed now that got me crazed, and so I'm going to have to take another look. I did last night, and I think, let me wait till after our thing today, and I'll go out and check it. And hopefully, it'll be okay. If not, it's going to be a lot of money to fix it. So, we'll have to see. So, let's just, as we're finishing up here about angels and guides and everything, just know that, I mean, Natasha's, living proof. She's just, and other mediums that just have this connection they have there, and the rest of us who aren't, where it's not our job to do like what Natasha does. Our job is to do other things, but we need some of the skills like that mediums have sometimes. Um, just to know that in the research, if you're looking at from research, the 70,000 people we've had on the other side, every one of them after a past life had an angel or a guide there.
Mhm.
And that it's so wonderful. Some people say, well, I felt it, I've kind of known it. And some of them even knew their names ahead of time because in a dream or something, they just got
Mhm.
it. But now it's kind of like with you and I, Natasha, like, of course, I'm seeing you this way, but when I got to actually see you and give you a hug in person last year when you came by, well, it's just like it's better than
Yes.
just you know like I'm touching you now, right there. You are. There she is. There's on the screen. You know, but
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 that physical, but it's
yeah,
like my,
it
I got a
makes it better.
dragon
Real.
that I got a dragon that's over my shoulder, and that's kind of how our guides sit. They just kind of sit over our shoulder, you know, um,
Yeah.
doing that work, and it's just interesting how, if we just get out of the way sometimes and believe, it doesn't matter what we believe in. Mother Mary doesn't care if you're black, purple, pink, upside down, inside out, anything. She doesn't care. Jesus is the same way. All the angels, a lot of the guides, fairies, they're asking us to connect. And that's part of this veil opening up that we're going through right now. And oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is this is part of the dance. We had the new moon with the equinox. Then we had a
Hmm.
full moon, which felt like a new moon because it's all in Aries, which is the fire. It's the first sign of the zodiac signs, of the turn of the wheel of the new year, and it's been about new beginnings. And now we have a new moon with an eclipse on Wednesday.
Wow.
It's like, let's get our world going. What are we going to do, and how are we going to negotiate it? And it's the story of where we're at. And this is a big, and then we have Mercury in retrograde the next day, and then we
Yeah.
have Earth Day the next day, the human Earth Day. And it's like, oh my gosh, I mean, it's about getting connected. So
Well, and
please get
yeah,
connected and trust the process.
and what I've learned this year too is, because I always had this thing when people say Mercury in retrograde, it used to be the old thing where you just want to run and hide and bury your head and not come out for a few weeks. But it's supposed to be this way, folks. It's like a
It's
flower
time to
opens
wake
up and
up.
closes. We grow, we're here and we're gone. It's just part of life. And a lot of times those energies need to change so that we're kind of pushed into making changes in our life, dealing with difficult things. It's like
Exactly.
it's not like a 24/7 party. It as people look at it. I mean, in a way, the way I like it now, the way I think you and I both look at it now, with the good and the bad and everything, it's still a 24/7 party, because it's all about learning and growth, and
It is. It really
dealing with the
is.
difficult things in the best possible loving way. And that's how
Yes.
we grow and change. So, well, let me
So
tell people. I'll tell people how to get a hold of me again through Visit the Afterlife. It's right there on the screen. Visit theafterlife.com. A lot of great videos on there about this life between life process, where in a deep state of relaxation, which most people reach, you can go to the other side, spend a couple. It's like having the near-death experience without the death part. You spend a couple hours over there having an amazing time, life-changing time, getting answers to your life's questions. And there's so much more, but it's on the website there. But I also want to let people know too about my regular therapy practice I do, using energy psychology, which is fast growing to be the way psychologists deal with emotional issues, is through energy psychology, because we get fast, quick results with PTSD, depression, healing, of course, healing from past traumas, and getting rid of bad habits. All kinds of different things can be done using energy psychology. Now, on my
mhm.
website, there's a lot of information there. So if anybody needs some help, we do Zoom or in person if I'm, within about 500 miles, because I go down all the way all over California. And Natasha, now again, your show, this is really cool. You said on Wednesday you're going to have that doctor that's a psychic.
He's a lawyer. No, that'll be next Wednesday,
Oh,
not
oh,
this Wednesday coming up.
not this Wednesday. Okay, a
Not
week
this
from Wednesday.
Wednesday. Mark
Okay,
Anthony is going to be on the last Wednesday of this month. This
great.
Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about the new moon and Mercury in retrograde and the
Okay,
energies that I see coming in for the next like couple of months here coming in. That
okay.
it'll be kind of interesting.
And then
It'll be an
for
interesting
people,
show. I'm getting some big insights about things.
yeah, yeah. So for people to have a session with you, because I mean that's what we're all about here too. And I'd say I know Natasha and I know me. We're just doing this because this is what we're supposed to do. We're both
It's
very
my soul calling. I have
reasonable,
no, yeah.
reasonable in what we charge. We want to help people and everything. So we're not like an infomercial trying to, if you don't book in the next 30 seconds, forget it, kind of thing. So
No,
if they
my
go to,
prices are staying on, I want to say, on the lower end of a
yeah,
lot of the intuitives, because of the fact that I want to be helping you get through things. I
yeah,
know a lot of people right now can't find counselors,
I
and
know. And so many people need one right now.
and I'm very reasonable. My prices are very reasonable because I'm here to support you going through your life, and I have a perspective. I trust that your truth has validation, but how can I help shift your truth to better you to doing what. And a lot of times I
Yeah.
say, here's some information, put it in your back pocket, metaphorically, carry it around for a while and see how it interacts with your life. You
Yeah.
know, you never know what it can be. But you can reach me at angelicclarifications.com. And I have applied my invested in my website, so it has been shifted up and done some work on it, and actually on my
Great.
feng shui page, so I have embedded links so that all the information can, instead of clicking tabs, you can click on a link and it goes to that section of the tab of that page that will help you in that moment. So I'm like, I'm just so
It's a
impressed
lot of
myself.
work. It's a lot of work, but that
It took me
feels,
almost a week to embed everything, but I am
yeah.
so like proud of myself.
Yeah. So everybody go check it out. Angelic Clarifications, just like it's .com. Yeah, that's great.
It's .com. I'm so grateful, and I'm going to be adding some more to my feng shui page and shifting up a couple more things. I'm getting little whispers of how to shift
Yeah.
up my pages a little bit, but
And this week I'm asking for my guides, for whoever's up there to help. I would say the guide that's really good at helping people organize, uh, and because I've got all these these 30 people I got to call and book them, and make sure I don't bite off more than I can chew by doing too many sessions in a week.
mm-hmm.
I've got all that to do, and because I want all these people to be there for them. I'm trying my darndest to not let anybody slip through the cracks. You know,
I hear
with
you. I hear you. And
yeah,
that's been a dance. And I can say I've been asking the same angels to help me as
yeah,
things grow and mature and are investing in, you know, investing in a future. It is about asking the organizers to help come in. And I know that I've been asking some of the same thing, but writing it down makes a big difference. Writing it
yeah.
down. So,
Yeah, that's what and I feel like I did a prayer earlier today. I did the havening and the tapping, and just to prepare myself today, just to help keep me calm and to organize this in such a way that none of that will happen. So I'm feeling pretty
mm,
good about that right now.
oh,
I
good,
just
good, good.
sent I just sent out 37 ebooks for free on the reincarnation is real. Matter of fact, anybody that's watching this now, if you go to my site and contact page to say, "Hey, Regan, I saw you on Dance of the Soul, and I'd like to have a free copy of Reincarnation is Real." It's about all the current research being done, and I'm giving it away for free for a while. So I'm happy
Cool,
to
cool,
do that.
cool.
Okay,
Well, congratulations. And we
thanks.
are both here to help you. I know Regan's going to be a little bit busy, but yet at the same time, he always has time. So if
Always have
you,
time.
and for me too, I am so grateful to help out people going through what they're going through right now, because I am one that understands going through life altering moments. I've done them myself, and I am so much here for you to help you do that. So blessings to all.
Blessings.
Wednesday's show will be on the eclipse and Mercury going into retrograde and a little bit of what I'm going to be seeing. And then
Do we have a guest next Monday?
we do have a guest next Monday.
Awesome.
Yes. It's Bruce. Is it Bruce again? Yes, it's Bruce. I
Oh,
don't
great.
have my
Okay.
notebook with me.
Okay.
I'm learning to take my calendar with me, and I
I
didn't
know it
this
gets
time.
hard to keep track. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, Bruce is going to be there, and then Mark Anthony is next Wednesday. So
Right.
next
Okay.
week is going to be busy with guest stars. So
Yeah, and
this
that's
week,
Monday, Wednesday. Well, Wednesdays when you do your show by yourself, and that's at 4 o'clock
4 o'clock
Pacific
Pacific
time,
time
just
on the
like ours
same.
is on Monday.
Yes,
Okay.
and the only difference is I get on Instagram if I don't have a guest.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
blessings,
All
everyone.
right, everybody.
We will see you later.
You all
Know
have a
that you're
guide.
loved and ask for
Yeah.
help. They're here to
Ask
help
for
you.
help. Yeah.
Bye now.